Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most influential books for entrepreneurs and innovators, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. If you're building a business, launching a product, or just curious about what separates successful startups from the rest, this book is packed with game-changing ideas. So grab your notebook, maybe a coffee, and let's break down how the Lean Startup can help you build, test, and grow your ideas faster and smarter than ever before. What is the Lean Startup? First, let's talk about what the Lean Startup methodology actually is. Eric Ries developed this approach after years of experience in the tech industry, where he saw too many startups fail because they spent months or even years building products no one wanted. The Lean Startup is all about reducing waste, learning quickly, and making decisions based on real-world feedback, not just gut instinct or guesswork. It's a scientific approach to entrepreneurship, designed for the world of uncertainty and rapid change. Why traditional methods fail? In the past, entrepreneurs would write a detailed business plan, raise money, build a product, and hope for the best. The problem? By the time they launched, the market had often changed, or customers just weren't interested. Eric Ries calls this the waterfall approach, slow, rigid, and risky. Instead, he argues that startups need a new way of thinking, one that's agile, flexible, and focused on learning. The core idea: build, measure, learn. At the heart of the Lean Startup is the build, measure, learn feedback loop. Build, create a minimum viable product, MVP, the simplest version of your idea that lets you start learning. Measure, test your MVP with real customers and collect data. Learn, use that data to decide whether to persevere, pivot, or kill the idea. This loop is designed to be fast and repeatable, so you can learn as quickly as possible and avoid wasting time and resources on ideas that don't work. The minimum viable product, MVP. The MVP is one of the most powerful concepts in the Lean Startup. Instead of building a perfect product, you build just enough to test your core assumptions. Real-world example. Dropbox started with a simple video showing how their file sharing service would work. They used this MVP to gauge interest and gather feedback before building the full product. Zappos, the online shoe retailer, began by taking photos of shoes in local stores and posting them online. When someone ordered, they'd buy the shoes and ship them out, proving there was demand before investing in inventory. These MVP stories show how you can test your ideas with minimal risk and maximum learning. Validated learning. Another key idea in the Lean Startup is validated learning. Instead of measuring success by how much you build or how much money you raise, you measure it by how much you learn about what customers really want. This means running experiments, collecting data, and using that data to make informed decisions. It's about being scientific in your approach to business, testing hypotheses, not just following hunches. Innovation accounting. To keep track of your progress, Eric Ries introduces innovation accounting. This is a new way of measuring success in startups, focusing on actionable metrics, like customer acquisition, retention, and engagement, instead of vanity metrics like page views or downloads. By tracking the right metrics, you can see whether you're moving the needle and make smarter decisions about where to focus your efforts. So, the pivot. Sometimes your initial idea doesn't work. That's okay. The Lean Startup encourages you to pivot, to change direction based on what you've learned, rather than stubbornly sticking to a failing plan. A pivot could mean changing your product, your target market, or even your entire business model. The key is to be flexible and willing to adapt. Real-world success stories. Let's look at a few companies that have used Lean Startup principles to achieve massive success. Dropbox used a simple video as an MVP to validate demand before building the full product. Zappos started by selling shoes online without any inventory, just to test the market. Airbnb began with a basic website listing air mattresses in the founder's apartment, then iterated based on user feedback. Uber launched a localized MVP in San Francisco to test the ride-sharing concept before expanding globally. General Electric adopted Lean Startup principles in its FastWorks program, leading to faster, cheaper product development. These examples show how the Lean Startup approach can work for both tech companies and established corporations. Practical tips for building a Lean Startup. Here are some actionable tips you can use to apply Lean Startup principles in your own business or project. Stay close to your customers. Regularly collect feedback through surveys, interviews, and direct communication. Build an MVP. Start with the simplest version of your idea and get it in front of real users as soon as possible. Be reactive. Use customer feedback to guide your next steps. Don't be afraid to change course if the data tells you to. Measure what matters. Focus on actionable metrics that show real progress toward your goals. Embrace experimentation. Treat every product, feature, or campaign as an experiment. Learn from both successes and failures. The culture of continuous improvement. Eric Ries also emphasizes the importance of company culture in the lean startup. He encourages leaders to create an environment where experimentation, learning, and adaptation are valued, not punished. This means being open to failure, learning from mistakes, and always looking for ways to improve. It's about building a team that's curious, humble, and willing to challenge assumptions. The 5 Whys. One practical tool from the lean startup is the 5 Whys technique. When something goes wrong, ask why 5 times to get to the root cause of the problem. This helps you address issues at their source, rather than just treating symptoms. Entrepreneurship is management. Eric Ries argues that entrepreneurship is management, a new kind of management for the world of uncertainty. Startups need leaders who can guide their teams through rapid change, make tough decisions, and keep everyone focused on learning and growth. Your Lean Startup Action Plan. Let's wrap up with a step-by-step action plan you can use to apply the Lean Startup in your own work. 1. Identify your core assumptions. What do you believe has to be true for your idea to succeed? 2. Build an MVP. Create the simplest version of your product or service that lets you test those assumptions. 3. Test with real customers. Get your MVP in front of real users and collect feedback. 4. Measure the right metrics. Track actionable metrics that show whether you're making progress. 5. Learn and adapt. Use what you learn to decide whether to persevere, pivot, or kill the idea. 6. Repeat. Keep going through the build, measure, learn loop, refining your product and business model as you go. Wrapping up. The Lean Startup is more than just a book. It's a mindset. It's about embracing uncertainty, learning quickly, and making decisions based on real-world data. Whether you're a solo founder, part of a team, or working inside a big company, these principles can help you build better products, make smarter decisions, and increase your chances of success. So, what's one lean startup experiment you can try today? Share your ideas in the comments below, and let's keep learning and growing together. If you found this review helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and let me know what book you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it.